Rain patters steadily on the slate roof above. In these quiet hours, the inn belongs to the last few travelers who linger by the glow while the rest of the world sleeps. Tonight, our path leads us to the dragon sleeping beneath the lake. Let the road fall behind you, sink into your pillow as the hearth settles to embers. Let your breath turn slow and quiet in the candle glow. Let every worry drift beyond the inn door. This is the drowsy dragon. Let us begin. The air here, at the edge of the world, is thin and sweet, tasting of the first frost and the deep green scent of the pines. You have come to the shores of Lake Ethereal, where the mountains dip their heavy toes into the silvered water. It is a place of profound stillness, where the only sound is the soft, rhythmic lap of the tide against the smooth grey stones. Beneath the surface, where the light of the moon cannot reach, lies a secret as old as the stones themselves. They say a dragon sleeps here, coiled in the silt of centuries, his breath the rising mist, his dreams the ripples on the shore. He is Orizur, the cobalt sleeper, a creature of the ancient world who chose the silence of the deep over the fire of the sky. As you walk along the shoreline, your boots crunch softly on the damp sand, a grounding sound in the quiet night. The trees here are silver-leafed birches, their bark white as bone, standing like silent sentinels in the gloom. They lean over the water, as if trying to catch a glimpse of the giant that rests below the mirrored surface. A light wind carries the scent of cedar and cold stone, brushing against your cheek like a phantom hand. The mist is thick tonight, swirling in slow, lazy patterns over the lake, obscuring the far bank and turning the world into a soft grey dream. It is easy to believe in magic here, in this liminal space between the earth and the water. You find a small stone jetty, its ancient blocks covered in soft, luminous moss that glows with a faint blue light. The light is steady, a gentle bioluminescence that guides your steps toward the end of the pier. Here, the water is so clear that you can see the white pebbles resting on the bottom, several feet below. The moon is full tonight, a great silver coin hanging in a sky filled with 1,000,000 stars. Its reflection in the lake is perfect, a shimmering path of light that seems to lead straight into the heart of the mountain. You sit at the edge of the jetty, letting your feet dangle near the cold, dark water. In the distance, an owl calls, its voice a lonely, echoing sound that carries far over the silent valley. It is a reminder that even in this stillness, life continues, moving with a slow and deliberate grace. You close your eyes for a moment, listening to the breath of the world, the slow inhale and exhale of the forest. The water before you begins to stir, not with a wave, but with a deep subsonic hum that you feel in your chest. It is the dragon's heartbeat, a slow and steady pulse that vibrates through the bedrock and the lake. It is not a sound of danger, but of deep, enduring peace, a rhythm that has not changed in 10,000 years. You notice a cluster of water lilies near the shore, their petals a pale, ethereal violet. They do not drift with the wind, but remain fixed, their roots reaching deep into the silken mud of the lake bed. Every few moments, a tiny bubble rises from the depths, bursting on the surface with a soft, watery chime. There is a story told by the mountain folk of how Orizur came to this place after the great calamity. He was tired, they say, weary of the heat and the noise of the heavens, and sought a place where the cold would keep his fire at bay. He carved this basin with a single sweep of his tail, and the clouds wept for 40 days to fill it. You reach down and touch the water, finding it colder than you expected, a sharp, bracing chill that wakes your senses. It feels heavy like liquid glass, and as you pull your hand away, the droplets fall back like diamonds. The ripples you created spread outward, growing wider and wider until they vanish into the mist. Behind you, the forest is a wall of deep shadow, where the fireflies have begun their nightly dance. They are like tiny wandering stars, flickering in and out of existence among the ferns and the heavy branches of the pines. Their light is warm and golden, a contrast to the cool blue glow of the lake. High above, a shooting star streaks across the firmament, leaving a trail of white dust that lingers for a heartbeat before fading. The heavens are vast and indifferent, yet they seem to cradle this valley in a protective embrace. You feel small here, but not insignificant, a part of the grand, slow turning of the seasons. A carved runestone stands near the head of the jetty, its surface worn smooth by centuries of wind and rain. The characters are faint, but you can trace the shape of a wing and a coiled tail with your fingertips. It is a marker of respect placed here by those who remember the dragon's name and the protection he offers. The mountains that surround the lake are jagged and black against the indigo sky, their peaks lost in the clouds. They are the guardians of this sanctuary, keeping the rest of the world at bay while the sleeper rests. You can hear the distant, muffled roar of a waterfall, a constant white noise that lulls the mind into a state of quiet reflection. A small wooden boat is moored to a post nearby, its timber greyed and weathered by the elements. It sways gently with the movement of the water, the rope creaking in a rhythmic, comforting way. It has no oars, for no one dares to row out to the center of the lake where the water is deepest and the dragon's head rests. You lean back against a smooth, upright stone, feeling the lingering warmth of the day's sun still trapped within the rock. The contrast between the warm stone and the cool air is pleasant, a gentle reminder of the balance inherent in all things. The world is settling into its final rest, and you are here to witness the closing of the day. As you watch, a thin veil of aurora begins to shimmer over the northern peaks, a curtain of green and violet light. It moves like silk in a breeze, casting a strange, otherworldly glow over the entire valley. The lake catches this light, turning into a pool of shifting, iridescent color that defies description. The hum in the earth grows slightly louder, a resonant tone that seems to align with your own breathing. It is a song of the deep earth, a melody of stone and water that bypasses the ears and speaks directly to the soul. You feel a sense of profound safety, as if the dragon's dream is a shield around this place. As the moon climbs higher, the water begins to hum with a low, vibrant energy, beckoning us to look closer at what lies beneath the shifting glass. The water is so clear, it is as if the air itself has turned to liquid, a heavy and transparent veil that guards the secrets of the deep. You look down, and for a moment, the reflection of the stars is all you see, dancing like diamonds on a velvet sheet. But then, your eyes adjust, and the shapes beneath the surface begin to resolve, emerging from the gloom in slow, majestic increments. Beneath the shifting glass, the dragon's form is a mountain of shadow, a landscape of ancient power that has become one with the lake bed. His scales are not merely stone or metal, but a mosaic of obsidian and deep sea green jade, catching the faint light from above. Each one is as large as a warrior's shield, polished by centuries of gentle currents and etched with the fine lines of time. You can see the slow, rhythmic expansion of his ribs, a movement so subtle it might be mistaken for the natural swell of the tide. With every breath he takes, a faint, bioluminescent pulse ripples through the water, a soft amber glow that illuminates the silken silt around him. It is the heartbeat of the valley, a deep and resonant thrum that vibrates in the marrow of your bones. Nearby, the ruins of an ancient city lie cradled in the dragon's coils, their marble pillars broken and encrusted with glowing freshwater pearls. These were the halls of the first scholars, who built their sanctum around the dragon to learn the secrets of the stars and the earth. Now the buildings serve as a nursery for small, luminous fish who dart through the empty windows like flickers of silver fire. The dragon's tail, long and tapered like a winding river, disappears into the darker reaches of the northern trench. It is draped in heavy carpets of star lilies, their white petals glowing with a soft internal light that never fades. They sway in the wake of his slow breathing, their roots anchored in the rich volcanic soil that the dragon's presence has nurtured for an age. High above the water, the air is cool and carries the scent of damp earth and blooming night flowers. You find yourself walking along the shore, where the pebbles are smooth and round, worn down by the lake's constant, gentle caress. Each step you take is muffled by the thick moss that carpets the bank, a soft and emerald cushion that feels like velvet underfoot. You come upon a bridge made of white stone, its arch so perfect it looks as though it were grown from the earth rather than built by hands. It leads to a small solitary island in the center of the lake, where a single ancient willow tree stands sentinel. The tree's branches weep down into the water, their leaves trailing like long green fingers across the surface. As you cross the bridge, the sound of the water changes, becoming a soft melodic tinkling as it flows over submerged crystal formations. These crystals grow in clusters, their jagged points glowing with a pale violet hue that mirrors the aurora dancing overhead. They are the dragon's dreams made manifest, physical echoes of the magic that flows through his veins. On the island, the air is even stiller, as if the world has forgotten this place exists. The willow tree is older than the mountains, its bark thick and gnarled, etched with the names of those who came here to seek peace. You rest your hand against the trunk, and you can feel the tree's own slow life force intertwined with the dragon's resting mind. A small shrine sits at the base of the tree, its roof covered in silver-grey lichen and its hearth long cold. There are no offerings here but the fallen leaves and the quiet respect of the forest creatures. A stone bowl sits on a pedestal, filled with rainwater that reflects the moon with such clarity it looks like a solid silver coin. You sit on a low stone bench, carved with the likeness of wings and clouds, and watch the water's surface. From this vantage point, you can see the outline of the dragon's head, resting on a bed of soft white sand. His eyes are closed, his long, elegant horns reaching back like the branches of a submerged forest. There is a profound sense of patience in his posture, a stillness that has lasted for 1,000 years and could last for 1,000 more. He is not merely sleeping, he is waiting, a guardian whose very existence keeps the balance of the elements in check. The lake is his sanctuary, and he is its heart. the source of the vitality that flows through every leaf and stream. The silence here is not empty, but full of the small, comforting sounds of the night. You hear the distant hoot of a snow owl, a soft and lonely call that echoes across the water before fading into the mist. The reeds at the water's edge whisper to one another, a dry and rhythmic rustling that sounds like 1,000 tiny secrets being shared. A light mist begins to roll in from the mountains, a soft and white blanket that settles over the lake's surface. It obscures the dragon's form, turning the water into a sea of milk and shadow, where only the brightest glows can pierce through. It feels as though the world is drawing a curtain, inviting you to close your eyes and join in the silence. You notice a cluster of foxfire glowing on a fallen log near the water's edge, its pale green light casting long, dancing shadows. It is a cold fire, a chemical glow that feels like the touch of moonlight on a winter's night. It guides your gaze back to the path, a gentle reminder that even in the deepest dark, there is light to be found. The hum of the lake seems to deepen now, shifting into a lower frequency that resonates with the very stones beneath you. It is a lullaby of the earth, a song without words that speaks of the turning of the stars and the slow growth of the forests. It tells you that you are safe, that the dragon's dream is a fortress of peace around you. You watch as a single drop of dew falls from a willow leaf, hitting the surface of the lake with a soft crystalline ring. The ripple it creates spreads outward, a perfect circle that travels across the water until it vanishes into the mist. It is a small thing, but in this place of giants and ancient magic, every small thing is significant. The air grows heavier with the scent of pine and wet stone, a grounding and earthy aroma that settles the mind. You feel the weight of the day falling away, leaving only the present moment and the slow, steady rhythm of the dragon's breath. The world is vast, but here, in the curve of the lake, it is intimate and kind. In the distance, the silhouette of a ruined watchtower stands against the violet sky, its stones dark and silent. It was built to watch for dragons, but now it only watches over them, a relic of a time when the world was less certain. Now the only thing to watch for is the rising of the sun, which is still many hours away. You lean back against the ancient willow, the rough bark, a familiar and sturdy support for your weary shoulders. The dragon's presence is a warm weight in the back of your mind, a constant and unwavering force of nature. As the mist thickens and the stars begin to fade behind the clouds, you realize that the lake has shared its greatest secret with you, the peace that comes from simply being still. The moss beneath your boots is thick and damp, cushioning every step as you move away from the ancient willow. The path here is made of flat, river-smoothed stones, laid down hundreds of years ago by hands that are now part of the earth. They lead you toward a small, arched bridge, carved from the same grey granite as the mountains above. Beneath the bridge, a narrow stream feeds into the lake, its voice a gentle, bubbling chatter that breaks the heavy silence of the mist. You pause at the crest of the bridge, resting your hands on the cold, weathered stone of the railing. The water below is clear even in the gloom, reflecting the faint, ethereal light that rises from the dragon's resting place. You can see the pale, smooth pebbles on the stream bed, shifted by the current into patterns that look like forgotten runes. The air here is cooler, carrying the sharp, clean scent of running water and crushed mint. Beyond the bridge, the forest opens into a small, secluded glade where the trees stand back to reveal a circle of ancient standing stones. These monoliths are tall and slender, leaning at weary angles as if they too are susceptible to the weight of time. They are covered in silver-grey lichen that glows with a faint bioluminescent pulse timed to the slow rhythm of the lake. It is a place of deep, undisturbed power, where the veil between the world and the dream is thin. In the center of the glade stands a small stone shrine, dedicated to a deity whose name has been lost to the winds of history. It is a simple structure, a four-sided pillar topped with a shallow basin of stone. Inside the basin, a cluster of star-glass crystals emits a steady, soft blue light, illuminating the surrounding grass in shades of sapphire and teal. The light does not flicker. It simply exists, a quiet sentinel in the heart of the woods. You walk toward the shrine, the grass whispering against your hem, a sound like a long, drawn-out sigh. The ground here feels different, more vibrant, as if the dragon's presence has infused the very soil with a slow, humming energy. You reach out a hand, hovering it over the glowing crystals, and feel a gentle warmth radiating from the stone. It is a comforting heat, like the embers of a fire that has burned low but will not go out. As you stand by the shrine, you notice a row of small, terracotta bowls lined up along the base of the pillar. They are filled with dried flower petals, lavender and mountain sage, their scents mingling into a heavy, soothing perfume. Someone still comes here, perhaps a wanderer or a guardian of the lake, to pay their respects to the quiet peace of this valley. It is a small act of devotion, a bridge between the busy world and this sanctuary of rest. The silence of the glade is absolute, save for the distant, muffled thrum of the dragon's heartbeat. You find yourself matching your own breathing to that rhythm, inhaling the cool night air and exhaling the last remnants of tension. Your heart slows, your pulse settling into a steady, easy beat that feels in harmony with the stones and the stars. There is no need for haste here, no need for anything but the present moment. You turn your gaze back toward the lake, catching glimpses of the water through the gaps in the silver-barked trees. From this elevation, the dragon's form is even more apparent, a vast and luminous shadow beneath the silvered surface. The scales along its spine catch the light of the shrine, shimmering with an iridescent sheen that shifts from indigo to deep violet. It is a sight of such profound beauty that it feels like a secret shared only with the night. A light breeze wanders through the glade, stirring the leaves of the silver-barked trees and causing them to chime like tiny glass bells. It is a delicate, musical sound, a melody composed by the wind and the wood. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the sound wash over you, feeling it vibrate in the marrow of your bones. It is the music of the earth in its deepest sleep, a song of safety and profound belonging. You decide to follow a narrow, winding trail that leads from the glade down toward a small, sheltered cove. The trail is lined with ferns that curl and uncurl in the darkness, their fronds soft and velvet-like to the touch. The scent of damp earth is stronger here, a grounding and primal aroma that speaks of roots and hidden things. Each step is a descent into a deeper layer of stillness, a further retreat from the noise of the waking world. As the trail levels out, you find yourself on a small, sandy beach, the grains of sand white and fine as powdered bone. The water of the cove is still as a mirror, undisturbed by the currents of the main lake. A cluster of water lilies floats near the shore, their large flat leaves providing a resting place for tiny glowing dragonflies. The insects do not fly. They simply sit, their wings shimmering with a faint golden dust. You sit down upon a large flat rock at the water's edge, the stones still holding the ghost of the day's sun. The water is so close now that you could reach out and touch it, but you hesitate, unwilling to break the perfect surface. You watch as a small silver fish darts beneath a lily pad, its movement a quick, liquid flash in the dark. Even the creatures of the lake move with a certain reverence, as if afraid to wake the titans sleeping below. The dragon's presence is more tangible here, a low-frequency hum that you can feel in your chest. It is not a sound, but a sensation, a vibration of power that has been tempered by centuries of peace. It feels like the purr of a great cat, or the rumble of distant thunder that promises rain but never arrives. It is the sound of a world at rest, a world that has forgotten the meaning of strife. You look up at the sky, where the clouds have begun to part, revealing a tapestry of stars so bright they seem to pulse. They are not the cold, distant stars of the high mountains, but warm and intimate, like lanterns hung in a vast, dark hall. You find the constellation of the Great Wing, its stars tracing the shape of a dragon in flight, a celestial reflection of the beauty beneath the water. It feels as though the heavens and the earth are in a long, silent conversation. A soft, rustling sound comes from the reeds nearby, and a small water vole emerges, its fur sleek and dark. It pauses, looking at you with bright, curious eyes, before continuing its slow journey along the shoreline. It shows no fear, only a quiet acceptance of your presence in its world. In this place, the boundaries between the observer and the observed begin to fade, leaving only the shared experience of the night. You lean back, supporting yourself on your elbows, and watch the way the mist dances over the water. It twirls and spirals in the light of the dragon, forming shapes that look like ghostly dancers or ancient forgotten spirits. They move with a grace that is both haunting and beautiful, a silent performance for an audience of one. The world is full of such wonders, if only one has the patience to sit and watch them. The air grows even stiller, the wind dying down until not a single leaf moves in the grove. The only sound is the rhythmic lap of the water against the sand, a sound so regular and soft it becomes a part of the silence. It is a hypnotic rhythm, a lullaby that tugs at the corners of your consciousness, inviting you to let go. The weight of your limbs feels pleasant now, a heavy and comfortable anchor to the earth. You notice a small wooden boat moored to a single stake in the sand, its paint faded to a soft, weathered grey. It is an old vessel, built for fishing, or perhaps for quiet contemplations in the center of the lake. It sways gently in the water, a rhythmic movement that mirrors the dragon's breath. You wonder about the person who left it here, and the stories they might tell of the nights they spent under the stars. The dragon shifts slightly in its sleep, a movement so subtle it is barely a ripple on the surface. Yet you feel it in the air, a momentary change in the pressure, a deepening of the magic that permeates the valley. The glow beneath the water brightens for a heartbeat, a brilliant emerald light that illuminates the depths of the cove. You see the intricate patterns of the dragon's scales, each one a masterpiece of nature and magic. As the light fades back to its soft, steady pulse, you feel a profound sense of gratitude for this moment of peace. The world outside may be full of shadow and noise, but here, in the embrace of the lake, there is only the quiet and the light. You are a guest in this ancient sanctuary, a witness to a dream that has lasted for an age. The night is deep, and the stars are watchful as you prepare to follow the path further into the heart of the silence. You rise from the soft sand, your movements slow and deliberate, as the night air wraps around you like a cool silken cloak. The path ahead is paved with crushed river shells, their pale surfaces catching the emerald luminescence from the depths of the lake. Each step you take produces a faint, rhythmic crunch, a sound that is both grounding and peaceful in the immense silence of the valley. To your left, the water remains a mirror of liquid light, while to your right, the ancient trees of the grove lean in, their branches heavy with silver-tipped leaves. The scent of damp earth and blooming night lilies follows you, a fragrant reminder of the life that flourishes in this hidden sanctuary. You find yourself walking toward a small stone pier that extends gracefully into the glowing water. It is built from weathered granite, the blocks fitted together with a precision that suggests the work of master stonemasons from an age-long past. Tiny blue flowering moss grows in the crevices, casting a faint secondary light that guides your feet. As you reach the end of the pier, you find a pair of wrought iron lanterns hanging from curved posts. They do not hold candles, but rather single, large crystals that pulse with a soft amber warmth. The light they cast is gentle, creating a small circle of comfort against the vastness of the dark. You sit on the edge of the stone, your legs dangling above the water, and watch the way the dragon's light interacts with the undersides of the lily pads. They look like floating shields of green glass, their veins glowing with a faint golden energy. Beneath them, small, translucent fish dart through the light, their scales shimmering like scattered jewels. They move in perfect unison, a silent dance that reflects the harmony of this place. The water is so clear that you can see the white pebbles on the bottom, many feet below, resting in the eternal glow of the great sleeper. There is a profound sense of safety here, as if the dragon's presence acts as a shield against the worries of the outer world. You breathe in deeply, the air tasting of mountain snow and ancient magic. It is a clean, refreshing breath that seems to settle in your chest, easing any lingering tension. In the distance, across the expanse of the lake, a thin veil of mist begins to rise, curling upward in delicate ribbons. It moves with the grace of a slow-motion tide, obscuring the far shore and making the world feel smaller and more intimate. You notice a small boathouse tucked into a nearby cove, its roof covered in thick green thatch. The walls are made of silver wood, a material known to grow stronger with age and exposure to the elements. A single window is set into the side, its glass panes slightly uneven, reflecting the shifting light of the lake. You walk toward it, your footsteps now muffled by a carpet of soft emerald moss. The door to the boathouse is slightly ajar, swaying just a fraction of an inch in the breathless air. Inside, the space is filled with the comforting smells of cedar, dried lavender, and old rope. Bundles of herbs hang from the rafters, their silhouettes dark against the dim light filtering in from the window. There are stacks of hand-woven nets resting against the wall, their weights made of polished river stones. A small wooden bench sits beneath the window, worn smooth by years of use. You take a seat, resting your hands on the cool wood, and look out at the water. From this vantage point, the lake looks like a vast glowing eye, watching over the secrets of the earth. The dragon's breath creates slow, rhythmic pulses of light that illuminate the interior of the boathouse in waves. One moment, the rafters are bathed in a soft green hue, and the next they retreat into a warm, velvet shadow. It is a hypnotic cycle, a visual lullaby that encourages your eyes to grow heavy. You notice a small, hand-carved figurine resting on the windowsill, a likeness of a dragon curled in a perfect circle. It is made of dark, polished stone, and its surface feels cool and smooth to the touch. It is a token of reverence, perhaps, or a simple charm left by someone who found peace in this very spot. You leave it where it lies, a silent guardian of the window. Outside, the mist has thickened, turning the world into a realm of soft edges and muted colors. The trees on the shoreline have become ghostly shapes, their forms blending into the gray-blue of the night. Only the glow from the lake remains constant, a beacon of emerald light in the heart of the fog. You step back out onto the mossy ground, feeling the dampness of the mist on your skin. It is not cold, but rather a refreshing touch that feels like a gentle cleansing. You follow the shoreline further, coming upon a set of stone stairs carved directly into the side of a low cliff. The steps are wide and shallow, designed for a slow and easy ascent. As you climb, the view of the lake expands, revealing the true scale of the dragon beneath the surface. From this height, you can see the curve of its long neck and the massive span of its folded wings. It is a sight of such majesty that it takes your breath away, yet it remains fundamentally peaceful. The dragon does not feel like a creature of fire and fury, but rather a guardian of the deep, a source of life and light for the entire valley. At the top of the stairs you find a small stone landing, circular in shape and bordered by a low wall. In the center of the landing stands an ancient sundial, though its purpose here seems more symbolic than practical. The gnomon is shaped like a rising phoenix, its shadow cast long and thin by the light of the moon. You run your fingers over the engraved runes on the dial's face, their meanings lost to time, but their beauty still evident. Beyond the landing, the path leads into a dense thicket of blue-capped mushrooms. They grow in clusters at the base of the trees, their caps emitting a soft, steady azure light. As you walk past them, they seem to brighten slightly, acknowledging your presence with a gentle hum of bioluminescence. The forest floor here is a tapestry of shadows and light, a dreamlike landscape where every leaf and twig is a work of art. You hear the faint, distant sound of a waterfall, a delicate tinkling like the chime of silver bells. It is a small stream feeding into the lake from the heights of the mountains above. You follow the sound until you reach a bridge made of twisted roots, grown together over centuries to form a sturdy and natural crossing. The water beneath the bridge is crystal clear, tumbling over moss-covered rocks with a playful energy. You pause in the middle of the bridge, looking down at the swirling eddies. The light from the lake reaches even here, tinting the bubbles and spray with a hint of green. It is a reminder that the dragon's influence extends to every corner of this sanctuary. On the other side of the bridge, The path opens into a small, sheltered glade. In the center, a single white-barked tree stands alone, its branches reaching toward the stars. Beneath its boughs, a small stone altar has been placed, holding a single, unlit candle and a bowl of clear water. It is a place of quiet reflection, a spot where one might come to offer a silent prayer or simply to exist in the moment. You sit on the soft grass near the altar, the blades feeling like velvet against your palms. The silence here is deep and profound, broken only by the distant chime of the waterfall and the soft pulse of the dragon's breath. You look up through the branches of the white tree, seeing the stars scattered across the sky like grains of diamond dust. They seem so close here, as if you could reach out and pluck one from the heavens. The constellations are unfamiliar, ancient patterns that have watched over this world since the beginning of time. You feel a sense of connection to the cosmos, a realization that you are a part of this vast and beautiful mystery. The air is still, the world is at rest, and the light of the dragon continues its steady, rhythmic pulse, guiding you deeper into the heart of the night. You rise slowly from the soft grass beneath the white-barked tree, feeling the lingering warmth of the glade fade as you step back into the cooler air of the forest. The path ahead is narrow, lined with silver-leafed ferns that curl and uncurl in a slow, hypnotic rhythm. Their fronds catch the emerald glow from the lake, casting long, feathered shadows across your boots. You walk with a deliberate pace, allowing the silence to settle over you once more, like a heavy, velvet cloak. The scent of damp earth is stronger here, mingled with the sharp, clean fragrance of wild mint growing near the water's edge. Every step you take is cushioned by a thick carpet of moss, which seems to swallow the sound of your movement. You feel as though you are moving through a dream, where the world is soft and the edges of reality are blurred by the mist. The distant chime of the waterfall has faded to a low, rhythmic hum, a steady pulse that matches the beating of your own heart. Ahead, the trees begin to thin, revealing the dark, shimmering silhouette of an ancient boathouse. It is constructed from petrified oak, the wood turned to stone over centuries of exposure to the lake's magical waters. The structure clings to the rocky shoreline, its roof covered in a layer of glowing lichen that pulses with a soft amber light. You approach the heavy door, noticing the iron hinges are wrought in the shape of sleeping serpents, their scales intricately detailed and cold to the touch. The door creaks open with a low, grounding groan, revealing a space filled with the scent of aged cedar and dried herbs. Bundles of lavender and rosemary hang from the rafters, their faded blossoms swaying gently in the draught you've created. The air inside is still and heavy, carrying the weight of many years of quiet solitude. You see a row of lanterns hanging from wooden pegs, each one containing a single, captured spark of starlight that flickers with a gentle blue radiance. In the center of the room stands a workbench, its surface scarred by the tools of a craftsman who long ago departed. A set of oars, carved from a pale light wood, rests against the wall, their blades polished to a mirror-like sheen. You run your hand along the grain of the wood, feeling the smoothness of the finish and the strength of the material. There is a sense of purpose in this place, a quiet dedication to the art of the journey and the safety of the traveler. A small stone hearth sits in the corner, the embers of a long-dead fire still glowing with a faint orange warmth. You find a heavy woolen blanket draped over a nearby chair and wrap it around your shoulders, the fabric thick and comforting against the evening chill. Through a small circular window, you can see the lake stretching out into the darkness, its surface a vast mirror reflecting the emerald pulse of the dragon. The light seems to dance upon the water, creating patterns of light that shift and change with every breath the creature takes. You leave the shelter of the boathouse and step out onto a long wooden pier that extends far into the lake. The planks beneath your feet are weathered and grey, the wood groaning softly as you walk toward the end. The water here is deep and still, its clarity allowing you to see the glowing stones that line the lake bed many fathoms below. Small, translucent fish swim in slow circles around the pilings, their scales shimmering with a faint bioluminescent glow that leaves trails of light in their wake. At the end of the pier, a single lantern has been left burning, its golden light casting a warm circle upon the dark wood. You sit at the very edge, letting your feet dangle above the water, feeling the cool mist rise from the surface to touch your skin. The silence here is absolute, broken only by the rhythmic lapping of the waves against the pier. It is a sound that speaks of ancient things, of the slow passage of time and the deep, unchanging peace of the depths. You look down into the water, watching as the green light from below swirls and eddies around the wooden posts. It is as if the lake itself is breathing a vast and gentle lung that sustains the life of this hidden world. You feel a sense of profound stillness, a realization that you are standing at the threshold of a great mystery. The dragon remains hidden, a presence felt rather than seen, its dreams shaping the very atmosphere of this sacred place. Across the water, the mountains rise like dark giants against the starry sky, their peaks dusted with a silver glow that suggests the presence of eternal snow. The stars themselves seem to be descending, their light reflecting so clearly in the lake that it is difficult to tell where the heavens end and the water begins. You feel small in the face of such vastness, yet you are not afraid. There is a comfort in the scale of this world, a sense that you are exactly where you are meant to be. A soft fog begins to gather over the reeds near the shore, drifting across the water in long, ghostly ribbons. It moves with a grace that seems intentional, as if the mist itself is a living entity, guarding the secrets of the lake. You watch as it curls around the pier, obscuring the land behind you and leaving you alone in a world of light and shadow. The air grows even quieter, the sounds of the forest muffled by the thick white veil. You notice a small rowboat moored to the side of the pier, its name the Moon Drifter, painted in elegant silver script upon the bow. It is a simple vessel, yet it feels sturdy and reliable, a companion for those who wish to explore the silent reaches of the lake. You imagine the feeling of rowing out into the center of the water, the oars dipping silently into the emerald glow, the world falling away until there is nothing but the stars and the pulse of the dragon. For a long time you simply sit and watch the play of light upon the water, your mind drifting through memories of the journey that brought you here. You think of the high mountain passes, the hidden valleys, and the ancient forests you have traversed to find this place of rest. Each step has led you closer to this moment of absolute clarity, where the noise of the world is silenced and the soul is allowed to breathe. The green light beneath the surface seems to brighten for a moment, a surge of energy that ripples through the water like a silent song. You feel a warmth spread through your chest, a sense of connection to the creature that sleeps below. It is a guardian, a keeper of the balance, and its presence is a blessing upon all who find their way to these shores. You close your eyes, letting the rhythmic pulse of the light guide your breathing, each inhale and exhale falling into sync with the dragon's rest. When you open your eyes again, the mist has begun to thin, revealing a hidden cove further along the shoreline. It is a place of white sand and glowing pebbles, where the water is shallow and the trees grow right down to the edge of the lake. You feel a pull toward this new destination, a desire to see what other wonders this sanctuary holds. The blanket remains warm around your shoulders as you stand and begin the walk back down the pier. The wooden planks feel solid beneath your boots, a grounding contrast to the ethereal beauty of the water. You reach the shore and turn to look back at the boathouse, its stone walls glowing softly in the starlight. It is a monument to the quiet lives lived in service to this place, a reminder that even in the presence of great power, there is room for the simple and the humble. You offer a silent word of thanks to the spirits of the lake before continuing your journey. The path along the shoreline is narrow and winding, hugging the curve of the bay as it leads you toward the hidden cove. The ground is covered in small, smooth stones that clatter softly underfoot, their surfaces polished by centuries of gentle waves. You pass by clusters of glowing reeds that sway in a phantom breeze, their stalks making a dry, whispering sound that seems to echo the secrets of the deep. As you approach the cove, the air becomes warmer, carrying a scent like sun-warmed stone and ancient parchment. The light here is different, a blend of the dragon's emerald pulse and a soft golden radiance that seems to emanate from the earth itself. You find a small stone bench carved into the side of a cliff, overlooking the shallow water where the pebbles glow like fallen stars. It is a place designed for long hours of contemplation, a vantage point from which to observe the slow dance of the night. You sit upon the bench, feeling the cool stone against your back, and look out over the expanse of the lake. The world feels vast and full of wonder, a tapestry of light and shadow that is constantly shifting and evolving. You are a witness to the beauty of the dragon's dream, a participant in the quiet magic that sustains this realm. The night is far from over, yet you feel a sense of completion, a knowing that you have found the peace you were seeking. As you step toward the water's edge, the path ahead begins to narrow, leading toward the hidden grotto where the lake's deepest secrets are whispered to the stones. The entrance to the grotto is a low, jagged archway, draped in thick curtains of weeping moss that shimmer with a faint teal luminescence. As you step inside, the air turns cool and heavy with the scent of damp earth and ancient mineral-rich water. The sound of the lake outside fades, replaced by the rhythmic, musical drip of moisture falling from long, slender stalactites into the dark pools below. You move deeper into the cavern, where the walls are lined with patches of bioluminescent fungi that glow like soft blue embers. The light they cast is gentle, illuminating the path just enough to guide your steps across the uneven stone floor. You feel the silence of the earth pressing in around you, a comforting weight that isolates you from the worries of the world above. Each breath you take is slow and steady, filling your lungs with the crisp, clean air of the deep places. A natural stone bridge spans a narrow chasm, its surface worn smooth by the passage of time and the soft touch of countless explorers. Below, A small stream flows silently toward the heart of the lake, its surface reflecting the faint glow of the cave walls. You pause for a moment on the bridge, listening to the distant, echoing hum that seems to vibrate through the very bedrock. It is the dragon's song, a low-frequency vibration that resonates in your chest, grounding you in the present moment. To your left, a cluster of translucent crystals grows from a crevice in the rock, their facets catching the light and breaking it into 1,000 tiny rainbows. You reach out and touch the surface of a crystal, finding it surprisingly warm to the touch, as if it has been absorbing the dragon's heat for centuries. The warmth spreads through your fingertips, a soothing sensation that eases the last remnants of tension from your body. You continue your journey, following the curve of the tunnel as it leads you toward a larger chamber. The cavern opens up into a vast, cathedral-like space, where the ceiling is lost in the shadows far above. Great pillars of stone rise from the floor, carved by nature into fantastic flowing shapes that resemble frozen waves. In the center of the chamber lies a still, dark pool, its surface so calm it looks like a sheet of black glass. You approach the water's edge, watching as a single drop falls from the ceiling, creating a series of concentric circles that ripple outward toward the shore. Along the far wall, ancient runes have been etched into the stone, their edges glowing with a soft amber light that pulse in time with the dragon's breath. You cannot read the language, but the meaning is clear. This is a place of sanctuary, a sacred space where the dragon's presence is honored and protected. You find a comfortable spot to sit near the pool, the stone beneath you covered in a thick layer of velvet-soft moss. The air here is still and peaceful, a perfect environment for deep reflection and rest. You watch the play of light on the water, the amber glow of the runes reflecting in the dark pool like stars in a midnight sky. The world feels very far away, its noise and chaos replaced by the quiet majesty of the earth. You feel a sense of profound belonging, as if you were always meant to find your way to this hidden grotto. The dragon's presence is a constant steadying force, a reminder that there is a deeper rhythm to life than the one we usually follow. A small waterfall cascades down one side of the chamber, its sound a soft, continuous hiss that reminds you of falling rain. The water is clear and pure, shimmering like liquid silver in the dim light of the bioluminescent fungi. You watch the water as it joins the pool, the tiny bubbles sparkling for a moment before disappearing into the depths. The repetitive motion is hypnotic, drawing you deeper into a state of calm and relaxation. You notice a small stone pedestal standing near the edge of the water, its surface holding a single crystalline lantern that glows with a steady white light. The lantern seems to be fueled by the magic of the lake itself, its radiance never flickering or fading. You reach out and turn the lantern slightly, watching as the light shifts across the cavern walls, revealing hidden details in the stone. There are carvings of mythical creatures and ancient forests, a history of the world written in the language of the mountains. The silence of the grotto is not absolute, but rather a tapestry of small, delicate sounds that weave together to create a sense of profound peace. The drip of water, the hum of the dragon, the soft rustle of your own breath, all of these sounds are part of the symphony of the deep. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the sounds wash over you, feeling yourself drifting on a sea of tranquility. The weight of your body feels light against the mossy ground, as if you are floating in the stillness of the cave. When you open your eyes, you see a path leading further into the darkness, a narrow tunnel that seems to beckon you onward. You stand and begin to walk, your boots making a soft, crunching sound on the gravel floor. The tunnel is lined with amethyst geodes, their purple crystals sparkling like hidden treasures in the light of your lantern. You pass by a small thermal spring, the water bubbling gently and sending up plumes of warm, fragrant steam. The steam smells of minerals and deep earth herbs, a scent that is both grounding and invigorating. You pause to inhale the vapor, feeling it clear your mind and soothe your spirit. The path begins to slope upward, leading you toward a natural stone window that overlooks the main body of the lake. From here, you can see the emerald pulse of the dragon's light reflecting off the water's surface, a breathtaking sight that fills you with a sense of awe. The window is framed by delicate silver vines that grow directly out of the rock, their leaves shimmering in the starlight. You stand at the window for a long time, watching the slow, rhythmic movement of the lake. The world above is asleep, but down here, life continues in its own quiet, magical way. You feel a deep connection to the dragon and the lake, a sense of being part of something much larger than yourself. You continue along the path, which now leads you back down toward the lower levels of the grotto. The air becomes warmer again, and the sound of the dragon's hum grows louder and more resonant. You find yourself in a chamber filled with floating motes of light, tiny particles of magic that drift through the air like glowing dust. They dance around you, their light soft and ethereal, creating a dreamlike atmosphere that is both beautiful and surreal. You reach out and touch one of the motes, feeling a tiny spark of warmth as it dissolves against your skin. The magic of this place is tangible, a physical presence that you can feel in every fiber of your being. You move through the chamber, the light motes parting before you like a curtain of stars. The path narrows again, leading you into a passage where the walls are made of translucent, milky quartz. The quartz glows with a soft, internal light, illuminating the passage with a gentle, pearlescent radiance. You feel as if you are walking through the heart of a giant gemstone, the light reflecting and refracting in 1,000 different directions. The silence here is absolute, a stillness that is both profound and comforting. You take a slow, deep breath, feeling the peace of the quartz chamber settle into your soul. As you emerge from the quartz passage, you find yourself in a small circular room with a ceiling that opens up to the night sky. High above, you can see the stars twinkling in the darkness, their light filtered through the mist that hangs over the lake. A single shaft of moonlight falls into the center of the room, illuminating a small stone altar covered in offerings of dried flowers and polished stones. You add a small pebble you found along the shore to the collection, a simple gesture of respect for the spirits of this place. The moonlight is cool and silver, a stark contrast to the warm amber light of the cavern ruins. You stand in the center of the room, letting the moonlight wash over you, feeling its purifying energy cleanse your mind and body. The night is quiet, the only sound the distant rhythmic pulse of the dragon far below. You feel a sense of completion, as if you have reached the end of one journey and are ready to begin the next. You find a narrow stairway carved into the side of the room, leading further down into the subterranean veins of the earth. The steps are steep but solid, each one a testament to the skill of the ancient builders who created this sanctuary. You descend slowly, your hand brushing against the cool stone wall for balance. The air becomes thicker and more humid, carrying the scent of deep earth magic and the promise of new discoveries. As the passage widens once more, you find yourself standing before the great gate of the inner sanctum, where the dragon's breath is felt as a tangible warmth against your skin. The gate is made of solid obsidian, polished to a mirror-like finish and engraved with scenes of the dragon's long history. You pause before the gate, feeling the power that radiates from within, a force that is both ancient and benevolent. You are ready to enter the heart of the sanctuary, to witness the dragon's dream in its purest form. The great obsidian gate yields to your touch with a silent, heavy grace, swinging inward to reveal the true heart of the mountain. You step through the threshold, and the weight of the stone above seems to vanish, replaced by a profound humming warmth. This is the inner sanctum, a chamber carved from the very foundations of the world, where the air itself feels like a soft golden liquid. The obsidian doors close behind you with a soundless finality, leaving you in a space that exists beyond the reach of time or the troubles of the surface. Before you, the sanctum stretches into a vast, amber-lit expanse, filled with a mist that carries the scent of ancient cedar and sun-warmed stone. The light here does not come from lanterns or candles, but from the very walls, which are laced with veins of glowing molten gold. This radiance is soft and pulsing, a gentle heartbeat of light that illuminates the swirling fog in shades of honey and copper. You walk forward, your footsteps muffled by a carpet of thick emerald moss that thrives in the subterranean heat. As the mist parts, you catch your first glimpse of the dragon's physical form, a sight that is both humbling and deeply peaceful. A single massive wing is draped across a ridge of basalt, its scales shimmering with an iridescent sheen that shifts from deep violet to burnished bronze. The scales are as large as shields, polished by centuries of slow movement against the stone, and they reflect the golden glow of the chamber like 1,000 tiny mirrors. You feel a sense of awe, not of fear, but of the immense age and stillness that this creature represents. Every few moments, a low, resonant sound vibrates through the floor, a sound that you feel in your chest more than you hear with your ears. It is the dragon's breath, a slow and rhythmic tide of air that moves the mist in long, graceful sweeps. With each exhale, a wave of warmth washes over you, carrying the faint, sweet aroma of toasted spices and wild honey. You find yourself matching your own breathing to this ancient cadence, feeling your heart rate slow and your muscles relax with every cycle. To your left, a small stream of liquid starlight flows from a crack in the ceiling, falling silently into a pool of dark, still water. The ripples move outward in perfect circles, catching the amber light and scattering it across the damp walls like dancing fireflies. You pause by the water's edge, watching the way the light plays upon the surface, mesmerized by the quiet beauty of this hidden world. The water is clear and deep, reflecting the glowing veins of the mountain as if it were a mirror to the stars themselves. Further into the chamber, the floor rises in a series of natural stone terraces, each one adorned with clusters of glowing crystals that hum with a low musical frequency. These crystals are translucent and pale, their internal light flickering like the steady flame of a candle in a windless room. You walk among them, feeling the subtle vibrations of their song, a melody that seems to speak of the earth's long memory and the secrets of the deep. The air here is still, yet it feels alive, charged with a gentle magic that soothes the spirit and clears the mind. High above, the ceiling of the sanctum is lost in a haze of golden smoke, through which you can see the faint outlines of massive stalactites. They hang like the pipes of a great organ, and you imagine that if the wind were to blow through this place, it would create a symphony of ancient, stony notes. But there is no wind here, only the steady, warm pulse of the dragon and the soft, liquid sound of the starlight stream. You feel as if you are standing in the center of a great living cathedral, a place of pilgrimage for the weary and the seeking. You notice a series of ancient statues carved directly into the basalt pillars that support the roof, their features worn smooth by the passage of eons. They depict guardians of old, their stone hands resting on the hilts of great swords, their eyes closed in a perpetual state of meditation. They are not warriors of battle, but keepers of the peace, watching over the dragon's slumber with a quiet, unwavering devotion. You feel their presence as a comforting weight, a reminder that you are safe within these hallowed walls. A bridge of translucent glass spans a narrow chasm where a soft blue fire flickers far below in the darkness. The fire is cool to the touch, a remnant of the primordial magic that shaped this realm before the first dawn. As you cross the bridge, the glass rings softly under your feet, a delicate sound that echoes through the vastness of the chamber. You look down into the blue depths, seeing the faint reflections of the golden veins above, a meeting of fire and light in the heart of the shadow. On the far side of the bridge, the dragon's head comes into view, resting upon a bed of smooth black sand. Its eyes are closed, the long silver lashes casting shadows against its snout, and its nostrils flare slightly with every deep, satisfying breath. A thin veil of steam rises from its scales, curling into the air like the smoke from a dying hearth. You move closer, moved by a sense of profound reverence, and find a flat stone where you can sit and watch the giant sleep. The dragon's tail is coiled around the base of a massive pillar, its spiked tip twitching occasionally as if it were dreaming of ancient flights across the morning sky. Each spike is tipped with a glowing ember of light, a small spark of the fire that burns deep within its belly. You watch the way the embers glow and fade, a rhythmic display of light that is as hypnotic as the flickering of a campfire. The dragon is a mountain of scales and heat, a living testament to the endurance of the world's oldest magics. You reach out a hand, not to touch, but to feel the radiant warmth that emanates from the creature's skin. It is the warmth of a sun-drenched field in midsummer, a heat that sinks deep into your bones and chases away the lingering chill of the tunnels. You feel a sense of profound connection to the earth, as if you're part of the same great breath that moves the dragon and the lake above. In this moment, there is no separation between you and the mountain, between your spirit and the ancient soul that slumbers before you. Small, glowing insects, like tiny shards of emerald, flit through the air, drawn to the warmth of the dragon's breath. They move in intricate patterns, their wings creating a soft, whirring sound that blends with the low hum of the crystals. You watch them dance in the amber light, their movements as effortless and graceful as the drifting mist. They are the tiny inhabitants of this grand sanctuary, living their lives in the quiet shadow of the great beast, undisturbed by the world outside. The floor beneath you begins to glow with a soft silver light, as if the very stones were beginning to wake from their own long sleep. You look down and see intricate runes etched into the rock, glowing with a steady, peaceful radiance that guides your gaze toward the center of the room. These are the marks of the first builders, the ones who shaped this sanctum and bound the dragon's dream to the safety of the lake. The runes pulse in time with the dragon's heart, a synchronicity of magic and life that has lasted for 10,000 years. You find a small alcove filled with soft white sand, a place clearly intended for rest and contemplation. You settle into the sand, feeling it mold to your shape, providing a perfect warm cradle for your tired limbs. From here you have a clear view of the dragon's flank, the massive ribs rising and falling like the tide of a golden ocean. The silence of the sanctum is absolute, a silence that is not empty, but full of the presence of the mountain and the dragon's deep, dreaming peace. Your eyes begin to grow heavy as you watch the swirling mist and the flickering lights of the crystals. The warmth of the chamber is like a heavy velvet cloak, pressing gently against you and inviting you to close your eyes. You listen to the rhythmic sound of the dragon's breath, a sound that has become the only thing in your world, a steady and reliable anchor. The worries of the surface, the long journey through the caves, and the mysteries of the lake all fade into the background, leaving only this moment of perfect stillness. You feel a sense of deep gratitude for this place, for the opportunity to witness the dragon's dream and to share in its ancient peace. The sanctum is a sanctuary in every sense of the word, a refuge from the chaos of the world and a reminder of the enduring power of rest. You let your head rest against the cool stone of the alcove, feeling the last traces of tension leave your body. The golden light of the chamber dims slightly, as if the mountain itself were preparing for sleep along with you. The liquid starlight continues to fall into the pool, a soft and steady drip that sounds like a distant bell. The ripples continue to spread, carrying the light to the furthest corners of the room, ensuring that even the deepest shadows are touched by a hint of radiance. You feel yourself drifting, your consciousness expanding to fill the vastness of the sanctum, becoming one with the mist, the heat, and the rhythm of the mountain's heart. There is no urgency here, no need to move or to think, only the simple act of being. As the dragon shifts slightly in its sleep, a single scale scrapes against the stone with a sound like a low, resonant gong. The sound vibrates through the sand and into your body, a final, gentle reminder of the power that slumbers here. You embrace the vibration, letting it carry you deeper into a state of relaxation, a state where the boundaries between dreaming and waking begin to blur. The amber light of the sanctum remains a steady, comforting presence, a beacon in the darkness of the deep earth. As you surrender to the rhythm of the mountain's heart, you find your eyes growing heavy, the golden mist weaving a final soft tapestry around your consciousness. The weight of the world is gone, replaced by the light and the warmth of the dragon's sanctuary, where the only thing that matters is the slow, steady pulse of a dream that will never end. The golden mist continues to swirl, weaving a soft, luminous blanket over the chamber, and you watch as it dances in the low light, catching the amber glow of the crystals and the silver shimmer of the starlight pool. The air is heavy with the scent of ancient stone and warm, sun-baked earth, a fragrance that speaks of ages past and the deep, enduring peace of the mountain. Your breath begins to sync with the dragon's own, a slow, rhythmic pulse that echoes through the very foundations of the cavern. And with every exhale you feel a little more of the world above slip away, the memories of the long journey. And the cold winds of the surface become nothing more than distant shadows, for here, in the heart of the sanctum, there is only the warmth, the light, and the steady beat of a dreaming heart. The dragon's scales, vast and shimmering like plates of polished gold, catch the light in a way that seems almost liquid, and you see the faint pulsing glow of the runes etched into the ancient stone nearby. Their light dims and brightens in time with the dragon's breath, and these marks were carved by hands long forgotten, witnesses to a time when the world was young and the dragons flew through skies of fire and dawn. Now those times are but dreams, held within the mind of the great creature before you, and you feel a soft vibration beneath you, a low, resonant hum that travels through the sand and into your bones. It is the sound of the mountain itself, a deep, tectonic lullaby that has sung to the dragon for 1,000 years, and now it sings to you. The pool of liquid starlight remains still, its surface a perfect mirror for the glowing crystals above, and occasionally a single drop of water falls from the ceiling, creating a ripple that spreads outward in a slow, hypnotic circle. You follow the movement of the light as it travels across the water, feeling your own thoughts become just as slow and deliberate. And the warmth of the chamber is a physical presence. A gentle weight holds you in place and invites you to let go. And you feel the softness of the sand beneath you, shifting slightly to accommodate your weight as you settle deeper into your alcove. The shadows in the corners of the room are not dark, but a deep, comforting velvet filled with the promise of rest. As you watch the dragon's flank rise and fall, you begin to see images within the golden mist, and you see vast emerald forests beneath a sky of violet and gold, and great soaring peaks that touch the very edge of the stars. These are the dragon's dreams, ancient and vast. And for a brief moment you are allowed to glimpse the majesty of a world that once was, before the cities were built and the roads were paved. The images are soft and blurry, like a painting seen through a veil of silk, and they do not demand your attention, but rather they invite you to drift along with them. You feel a sense of profound connection to the creature, a shared understanding of the necessity of rest, and the beauty of the quiet moments that exist beneath the noise of the world. The rhythmic sound of the dragon's breath becomes a mantra, a steady anchor that keeps you grounded even as your mind begins to wander. And it is a sound of safety, of protection, a reminder that here in the deep places of the earth nothing can reach you. The mountain is your fortress, and the dragon is your silent, dreaming guardian, and you find yourself closing your eyes for longer periods. The amber light is still visible through your eyelids as a soft, warm glow, and the silence of the sanctum is absolute, broken only by the gentle sounds of the water and the low, resonant hum of the earth. It is a silence that feels like a physical embrace, a sanctuary for the weary and the travel-worn, where time has no meaning. The liquid starlight in the pool begins to dim, the silver light fading into a soft, ethereal blue, and the ripples on the surface slow until they are almost imperceptible, leaving the water as smooth as a sheet of glass. You feel your own heart rate slowing, your body becoming heavy and still, as if you were made of the very stone that surrounds you. And the golden mist draws closer. It curls around your alcove like a protective shroud, and it is warm and soft, smelling of honey and old parchment, a scent that carries with it the wisdom of the ages. You breathe it in deeply, feeling the magic of the sanctum fill your lungs and settle in your spirit, a quiet fire that warms you from the inside out. The dragon shifts slightly in its sleep, a movement so slow and deliberate that it feels like the shifting of a continent, and a single scale brushes against the stone with a sound like a distant bell. The sound does not startle you, but rather it serves as a final gentle reminder that you are not alone in this vast quiet space, for you are a guest in the house of the ancient. You are a witness to a peace that has lasted for centuries, and the weight of your journey, the fatigue of your muscles, and the noise of your thoughts all dissolve into the stillness. There is no tomorrow here, no yesterday, only the eternal present of the dream, stretching out like an infinite horizon. The light from the crystals overhead begins to flicker and fade, retreating into a soft, pulsing glow, and the shadows lengthen, stretching across the sand and the stone. They wrap the chamber in a blanket of twilight, and you feel a sense of profound gratitude for this moment, for the chance to rest in the presence of such ancient majesty. The dragon's breath is now a faint, rhythmic whisper, a sound that is almost indistinguishable from the rustle of the wind through the trees. And it is the sound of the world at rest. It is the sound of the deep earth breathing in its sleep. And you let yourself sink further into the sand, the warmth of the chamber pressing against you like a heavy velvet quilt. Your consciousness begins to expand, reaching out to touch the walls of the cavern and the surface of the lake far above. And you feel the weight of the water, the strength of the mountain, and the slow, steady pulse of the dragon's heart. You are a part of it all, a single note in a vast, ancient symphony of stone and shadow, and the golden mist becomes a soft, luminous haze. It blurs the edges of the world until there is nothing left but the warmth and the light, and you are no longer a traveler, no longer a watcher, but a dreamer. You are drifting on the tide of an ancient ocean, where the currents are warm and the waves are silent, and the boundaries of yourself begin to fade. The final flickers of light from the crystals die away, leaving the sanctum in a state of perfect glowing dimness. And the only light that remains is the faint golden radiance of the dragon itself. It is a beacon in the deep that will never truly go out. And you watch it with heavy eyes, feeling the last traces of wakefulness slip away like sand through your fingers. The silence is complete now. A heavy, beautiful silence that holds the world in its hands, and you let out one final deep breath. You feel the tension leave your body for the last time, and the dream of the dragon is yours now, a vast and golden landscape where you can rest forever. You are hidden away in the heart of the mountain, beneath the still waters of the lake, in a peace that will never end. Thank you for resting here a while. Until next time on the Drowsy Dragon, sleep well.